Hello everybody, welcome back to another tutorial. In today's tutorial I'm going to be teaching you how to create your own wallpapers, because I run into this problem a lot where I have an idea of what I want for the new wallpaper for the background of my phone or my computer, and I can't find anything that I like. So after this video you'll be able to know how you create your own. So you can follow along what I'm doing. I'm using the program IBS Paint X. If you don't have that, but you have a similar program, you can also do it with this. I'm sure that the brushes and the effects are similar. So if you have something similar to IBS Paint X, then you can use that as well. So basically, I start off with choosing a background and adding a bunch of different effects to it. My favorite effects that I like to use for this specifically are glitch effects and the grid effect, which is the grid effect is like what you'll see a lot on a lot of aesthetic backgrounds, where it's just a block of color and then there are like a sort of a white grid pattern on it. That's kind of what I like to do. So the characters that I'm actually going to be using for my wallpaper examples are Pearl and Morena from Splatoon 2. If you don't know, that's a game for the Nintendo Switch. And I've recently been into Splatoon a lot recently, so I wanted to do something like that. So basically what I do first is I put in the picture for my character, and then I duplicate it and then resize it. This is just an example, by the way, so you don't have to do it, but this is one of the things I like to do. And then on the bottom layer I turn on alpha lock and put it on a white, make it white so that it's kind of like almost like a border type thing, and then I actually add on a border onto that using the effect stroke outer and choose a different color for it. I like to use I actually use glow outer, so it kind of gives like a glowing sort of effect onto it. But you can use a normal stroke, you can go over it with whatever color you want, it doesn't really matter. But I like to do the glow effect for mine. And of course, Pearl's main colors are like pink and white, so I wanted to incorporate a lot of pink and white into it. So I tried to use a lot of, they're not hot pink, but they're not pastel either. They're pretty saturated. Anyway, now that I'm done with that, I go and create a new layer. And then I go to my brushes and I do a square, and this is for the border, so you kind of get like a little border around it. So the thing that I've seen that would work the best is create a square and then so if you go into the move tool, you will find the perspective form, which is what I'm doing right now, and then you basically just resize it so it matches the corners and the sides of the canvas. And I like to drag it down below it, so it kind of looks like the character is popping out of the border. You don't have to do it, it's just a touch that I like to do personally. And if you want to add effects, you can. You don't really have to, but effects, filters, all those kinds of things, they make it look a lot better, because even a couple of effects can make it can change the way your canvas looks, your wallpaper. So next I go into my brushes, and right now I'm kind of just looking around, but I choose a flower and I set it to hot pink, and I mess around with within the flower brush. So I like to put it behind the main thing, so it's kind of in the background. I think it just adds another little touch. You don't have to use flowers. You can use different brushes if you have one that's like crowns or clouds, anything really works. And obviously these other parts are completely optional, so if you don't want to do the things that I'm doing, you don't have to, obviously. But obviously if you want to, you can. So next I take this brush that already has a stroke on it, and what I like to do is add on the name of the character, because you can place it wherever you want. You can use whatever brush. It doesn't really matter. And if you want to use normal text, you can, but I think personally, for me, I think it looks better when it's handwritten. But if you don't feel comfortable with your own handwriting, obviously you can use the text. So I was kind of struggling with this because I used my finger because I recorded this on my phone. So I decided to give each character that I draw sort of a different handwriting if I decide to include their name onto it. So Pearl has smaller and bigger uppercase letters because I thought that kind of fit based on her personality. And then next I kind of add some touches to the actual text. So because Pearl has a crown, I decided to give her do a crown stamp, kind of on the P. And because her crown fades from white and then pink at the tips, I just color picked using the eyedropper tool, and I picked the pink color. And then obviously you have to select a brush because the cool brushes are all the way down at the bottom. But basically, then you can select any sort of brush. It doesn't really matter, and then just go over the top. You can do as much as you want with this, but in order to create a gradient like this, you do that, and then you take your blur tool and blur in between it, and it gives you a really smooth looking gradient, and it looks really nice. And then I just sort of add on some finishing touches, whether it is little lines or maybe little changes that maybe I missed. So what I like to do for this one is I also like to use the glow stroke brush. I'm not entirely sure what it's called, but it's something along those lines. And then you just draw little lines, and it's kind of like, what would you call those? Like reaction lines? I'm not entirely sure what to call them. But they look like that. I'm not doing a very good job at explaining these. Anyways, now we are moving on to Morena, because, you can't have Pearl without Morena. So the last one I had was kind of like a home screen looking thing, but now we're going to be doing a lock screen sort of deal, so that you can see the time and the date easily, and everything else is at the bottom. That is the main thing that you want to make sure you have. So basically, take your character, position it however you want. I'm going to be doing it at the bottom, and then you want to duplicate it. You can do it how many times as you want, but then you also want to turn on alpha lock on each one and choose a color of your choice. The first color would be dark, the second color would be that color but just lighter, and it would keep going until you reach white. And you're going to put them all in a line behind each other, so it kind of gives off a cool effect, which is what I'm actually doing right now. So Morena's main color is this like a aqua teal-y sort of color. So I kind of did like a light green fading into white for this one, and then I just merged them all together so that I wouldn't have as many layers to deal with. And then you can just position it however you want. It doesn't really matter where you put it. And then I just add the little, I'm just going to call them reaction lines, but basically I kind of just add those in. So right now, while I am looking for brushes, this is the time that I'm going to ask you to please subscribe. And if you guys like tutorials like this, or if you want me to do more, then certainly go ahead and give me suggestions. But anyways, back to this. I kind of thought that Morena would have a bit more of like a softer, maybe even more on the cursive side sort of handwriting, because she seems a lot more chill and almost a little bit shyer than Pearl, who's very like loud and confident. I can't speak. I was gonna say she seems more confident in a sense, and I also thought she would be the kind of person who dots like the tops of their eyes and J's with little hearts instead of just the normal dots. And then you can just resize it. You can get creative with these things. I'm just giving you guys ideas, obviously. So if this inspires you to do a different thing, then you can then do those things. These are just ideas to get you started, obviously. And if there's sort of layouts for wallpapers that you want to see me make, or maybe even me make them for you, then certainly ask in the comments, because I can try my best to make them for you. But anyways, so now I wanted to stick with the same theme and also add a flower. I decided to add a flower kind of in the middle, so it would be in the background above or underneath the text, the time, And so I also wanted to do a bit of a outer stroke on top of it, so it would be easier to see. So I just set it to the stroke outer, and there we go. We are done. So these are the finished wallpapers. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you would like me to see me do more wallpapers or different tutorials, let me know in the comments. And I will see you guys later. Bye bye!